Clockwork, the city of light and time, the mysterious heart, the Luminous Tower, the Citadel, et Illuminate. These are all names one may hear when speaking of the city of Clockwork, the beating heart of the Principate Pact. To outsiders, they are often used interchangeably. To those who know the city's history, however, each name means something different. Each describes a separate piece of a greater whole. Thousands of years ago, when the elves first settled the Heartlands, they discovered a structure that predated even their oldest records. A solitary megalith stood within the great river valley, a plain gray monolith, silent, unassuming, ancient beyond measure. Today, it is known simply as the Mysterious Heart. No one knows who built it. Some scholars believe it is a remnant of a civilization from the Celestial Era. Others argue it may be even older than that. Whatever its true origin, the elves recognized its significance. Around the stone, they constructed a great tower and began centuries of study. They observed the faint pulse of magic resonating within the monolith, a rhythm that seemed to answer the movements of the heavens themselves, changing with the paths of the sun, moon, and stars. This tower became known as the Luminous Tower. At first, it was little more than a research facility, but the elves did not stop there. Across the valley floor, stretching for miles in every direction, they carved immense markers into the landscape. Together, these formed a colossal sundial. By tracking the tower's shadow and comparing it to the heart's magical fluctuations, they charted patterns of time, season, and celestial movement with extraordinary precision. The pathways, measurements, and geometric alignments created for this purpose would eventually become the foundations of the city itself. And so, when people speak of Clockwork, the name means far more than many newcomers realize. It is not called Clockwork solely because later generations of dwarves and gnomes filled its streets with automatons, arcanomoto traffic, gears, engines, and mechanical wonders. It is called Clockwork because the city itself was built upon a clock. The origin of the third name, the Citadel, came much later. In the dark years following the culling, refugees fled the advancing Gloomvale. Humans, dwarves, and gnomes alike sought sanctuary within the few surviving centers of magic. The Heart was one such place. Together with the remaining elven mages, the refugees raised walls around the Heart and the tower. What began as a fortress of necessity became a permanent settlement. This was the Citadel. Over the centuries, new walls were built farther and farther outward as the population expanded beyond the original defenses. Yet the first ring still stands, a clear boundary between the oldest parts of the city and everything that followed. Even today, travelers approaching by airship can see the truth written across the landscape. The streets, the rail lines, the districts, all follow the geometry of the ancient sundial that once dominated the valley floor. The straight 15 rail is not named merely because the designation was convenient. It marks the location of the 15th hour, first measured there thousands of years ago by elven astronomers. The straight 7 still traces the line where evening shadows once fell. And to this day, the central tower of the Citadel can tell the hour by the district upon which its shadow rests. Many native Clockworkians scarcely need a pocket watch at all. Those born in the afternoon districts and working in the morning districts learn to judge the time with a glance toward the tower overhead. The city itself keeps the hour. And finally, there is et Illuminate. In the ancient elven tongue, the name translates simply as the place of light and time. A fitting title. For Clockwork is more than a city. It is a monument to observation, a relic built around a mystery, a fortress grown into a metropolis, and perhaps more than anything else, a reminder that long before engines turned and gears spun, the people of this valley learned to build their future by measuring the passage of time itself.